Texas is big. I mean, people say that all the time. But until you've driven I-10 at 2 a.m. with nothing but darkness on both sides for 100 miles, you don't really get it. Out here, you can be alone in ways that don't exist in other states, miles from the nearest town. No cell service, no lights except your headlights. And when you're that isolated, that's when Texas shows you what it's been hiding. See, this state's got history, old history, bloody history. And some of that history, it never really left. I grew up in Texas, spent my whole life here. Born in Houston, lived in Austin, worked in El Paso, got family scattered from Amarillo to Brownsville. And let me tell you something about this state. It's got layers. On the surface, it's all barbecue and football and friendly folks who will help you change a tire in the middle of nowhere. And that's real. That's genuine. But underneath, there's something else. Maybe it's because Texas has been so many things: Spanish territory, Mexican land, independent republic, Confederate state, oil boom, dust bowl, border country. Every era left ghosts, every conflict left scars. And in a state this big with this much empty space, those ghosts have room to roam. These 4 stories come from different parts of Texas, different decades, different people, but they all have one thing in common. They happened in places where Texas is just itself. No cities, no crowds, just land, sky, and whatever's been waiting out there. First story takes place on a highway most of y'all have probably driven. Second one's from a small town that's not on maps anymore. Third one, well, let's just say it involves something that's been in Texas longer than any of us. And the fourth, that one happened to me. So settle in. Maybe grab some sweet tea or Shiner, and let me tell you about the Texas most folks don't talk about. Story 1. The Hitchhiker on 285. Highway 285 runs north-south through West Texas. If you've ever driven from Pecos to Fort Stockton, you know it. Desolate doesn't even begin to cover it. It's one of those roads where you can drive for 45 minutes without seeing another car. Just scrub brush, oil pumps, and sky so big it makes you feel like an insect. This story comes from a truck driver named Bobby. He was hauling crude oil on this route twice a week for about 3 years, 2015 to 2018. Bobby's a straight shooter, ex-military, not the type to embellish or make things up, which is why when he told me this story at a Buc-ee's outside San Antonio, I believed him. It was July 2017, Tuesday night around 11 p.m. Bobby's heading south on 285 about 30 miles north of Fort Stockton. Nothing unusual. Clear night. Radio's playing some old country station out of Midland. He's making good time. Then his headlights catch something on the side of the road. A person standing there, thumb out, hitchhiker. Now, Bobby's policy is simple. Never pick up hitchhikers, especially not out here in the middle of nowhere at night. But as he passes, he gets a good look. Young woman, maybe early 20s, sundress, long dark hair. She's not wearing a jacket even though the desert gets cold at night, and she's just standing there, not moving, not waving. Just thumb out. Bobby drives past, checks his mirrors. She doesn't turn to watch him go, just keeps facing forward, thumb still out. Weird, Bobby thinks, but whatever, not his problem. He drives another 5 minutes, maybe 3 miles. Then his headlights catch someone on the side of the road again. Same woman, same sundress, same position, thumb out. Bobby's foot eases off the gas. That's impossible. He just passed her 3 miles back. There's no way she could have gotten ahead of him. No cars past him, no side roads, but there she is. He drives past again, slower this time, looking. She doesn't move, doesn't turn her head, just stands there. Bobby's heart rate picks up. He's trying to rationalize. Maybe it's a different woman. Maybe he's more tired than he thought. Another 3 miles. There she is again. Same exact spot relative to the road, right side. Same distance from the pavement, same sundress, same hair, same thumb. Bobby's hands are gripping the wheel now. He's not tired anymore. Adrenaline's wiped that away. He decides to test something. He slows down as he approaches, gets a real good look. The woman's face is blank. Not hostile, not pleading, just empty, like a mannequin. And her feet, she's not wearing shoes, in West Texas, in July, standing on ground that's still radiating heat from the day, barefoot. Bobby accelerates, watches his speedometer climb. 50, 60, 75. He's putting distance between him and that spot. 4 miles, 5, 6. He starts to relax. Maybe it was just... There she is, ahead of him again. This time, Bobby doesn't slow down. He blows past her at 80 miles an hour. In his side mirror, he sees her. And for the first time, she moves. Her head turns, follows his truck as he passes. Bobby's stomach drops. He floors it. 85, 90, the truck's shaking. He doesn't care. He drives like that for 15 minutes, doesn't see her again. Finally, he reaches the lights of Fort Stockton, gas stations, fast food, civilization. He pulls into a Love's truck stop, parks, sits there for 10 minutes, hands still on the wheel, trying to process what just happened. Then he gets out, walks around his truck, just checking, making sure everything's okay. That's when he sees it. On the passenger side, right below the door handle, there's a handprint. Small, feminine, pressed into the dust and road grime on his truck, like someone had been running alongside, trying to grab the handle. At 90 miles an hour. Bobby scraped that handprint off, didn't take a picture, didn't tell anyone for months. He kept driving 285. It was his route, his job. But he changed his schedule, started driving it during the day only. He asked other truckers if they'd seen anything. Most said no. But one old-timer, guy who'd been running that route since the 90s, just nodded. "Girl in the sundress," he said. "Yeah, she's been out there a long time." "Who is she?" Bobby asked. The old-timer shrugged. "Don't know, but I'll tell you this. Don't stop. Don't ever stop for her. Because the guys who do..." He left it at that. Bobby looked into it later, found some old reports. Summer of 1989, a young woman was found dead on Highway 285, hit and run. She'd been hitchhiking from Pecos to Fort Stockton, wearing a sundress. They never found who hit her, and every few years someone reports seeing her. Always at night, always the same stretch of road, always trying to get a ride. Bobby quit that route 6 months later, took a different job, different company. He doesn't drive through West Texas anymore. And he never, ever picks up hitchhikers. Texas has a lot of ghost towns, places that thrived during oil booms or cattle drives, then died when the money dried up. Most of them you can visit, explore, take pictures, but some of them you shouldn't. Story 2. The town that isn't there. This one comes from my cousin Sarah. She's a photographer, does urban exploration, documents abandoned places, real talent for it. In 2019, she's looking for new locations. Someone tips her off about an old town in the Panhandle, near the Oklahoma border, supposedly abandoned since the 60s. She can't find it on modern maps, but she digs through some historical records, finds references. The town was called Ashford. Population peaked around 400 in the 1940s. Oil town. By 1965, it was empty. Sarah finds some coordinates, plugs them into her GPS, decides to check it out on a Saturday in October. She drives out there, about 40 miles from the nearest current town, takes a county road, then a dirt road, then basically just prairie. And then she sees it. Buildings, a whole town, just sitting there in the middle of nowhere. Main Street maybe 3 blocks long, storefronts on both sides, a church, what looks like an old general store, houses scattered behind. Everything still standing, not collapsed, not burned, just empty. Sarah parks her truck, grabs her camera. It's about 2 p.m. Plenty of daylight. She starts walking down Main Street. The buildings are in surprisingly good shape. Windows intact, doors still on hinges. She peers into the general store. Shelves are still there. Some still have items on them. Old canned goods. Bottles covered in dust. It's like people just walked away one day and never came back. Sarah's excited. This is exactly what she was looking for. She starts taking photos. The light is perfect, golden, nostalgic. She spends about an hour working. Different angles, different buildings. Then she notices something odd. There are no birds. It's October in the Panhandle. Should be migratory season, should be tons of birds, but the town is completely silent. No chirping, no rustling, nothing. Sarah lowers her camera, listens. Dead quiet, not even wind. She looks around. The grass outside town is swaying. There's definitely wind, but inside the town limits, stillness. Okay, that's weird, she mutters. She decides to check out the church. It's at the end of Main Street, white clapboard, steeple still intact. The door's unlocked. She pushes it open. Inside, pews are still arranged, hymnals in the holders, an old piano against the wall, and at the front, near the pulpit, there's something written on the wall. Sarah walks closer, pulls out her phone for a flashlight. The writing is in chalk, faded but legible. It says, "We're still here. Below that, please leave." Sarah's skin prickles. She backs away from the wall. This is recent. The chalk's faded, sure, but not decades old. Someone wrote this maybe months ago? A year? She turns to leave. That's when she hears it. Footsteps, upstairs, in the church. Slow, deliberate, walking across floorboards. Sarah freezes. "Hello," she calls out. The footsteps stop. Silence. Then, quietly, a voice. "You need to leave." It's a woman's voice, older, tired. "I'm sorry," Sarah says. "I didn't know anyone was here. I'm just taking pictures. You need to leave now." The urgency makes Sarah move. She walks quickly to the door. Doesn't run, but she's not wasting time. She exits the church, looks back. The second-floor window shows a figure, just a silhouette, standing there, watching. Sarah walks back to her truck, gets in, starts the engine. As she's backing out, she looks at the town one more time and freezes. There are people now, standing in doorways, in windows, on the porches. Not a lot, maybe a dozen, all just standing there, watching her. Where the hell did they come from? She'd spent an hour walking around. The town had been empty. But now there are people everywhere. An old man on the general store porch, a woman in a faded dress in a window, children standing in the middle of the street, all of them staring at her truck. Sarah throws it in drive, hits the gas. As she pulls away, she checks her rearview mirror. The people are standing in the middle of the road now, a line of them, watching her leave, not waving, not moving, just watching. She drives back to the highway, doesn't look back again. When she gets home, she downloads her photos and gets her second shock of the day. The pictures are full of people, not in every shot, but scattered throughout. A man in the background of the general store photo, standing inside, visible through the window. A woman sitting in a chair on a porch. Sarah had photographed that porch. It had been empty. Children standing in the doorway of the church. They were in her photos, but they hadn't been there when she took them. Sarah zooms in on one image, the church exterior, the second-floor window. There's the woman, the silhouette she'd seen. But in the photo, it's clear. She's wearing clothes from the 1940s, and her face. She's looking directly at the camera, directly at Sarah, and she's mouthing something. Sarah studies the photo, reads her lips. "Don't come back." Sarah deleted all the photos, every single one. She tried to find Ashford again later, wanted to confirm what she'd seen, but she couldn't. The coordinates led to empty prairie, no buildings, no town, just grass and wind. She talked to some locals, asked about Ashford. One old-timer remembered it. "Oh yeah, Ashford. That place burned down in 1967. Lightning strike. Whole town went up. Lost about 30 people who couldn't get out in time." "Burned?" Sarah asked. "Everything?" "Everything," he confirmed. "Nothing left but foundations. County bulldozed those in the 70s. Nothing there now." But Sarah had been there. She'd walked through those buildings. They were intact. She'd seen the people, and they'd seen her. She doesn't do urban exploration anymore. And when I asked her if she still had any of the photos, she got real quiet. "No," she finally said. "I deleted them all." "Why?" "Because one of the photos I took of Main Street, when I looked closer, there was someone standing behind me." She paused. "In my shadow." Texas wasn't always called Texas. Before Spanish, before Mexican, before American, it was home to dozens of indigenous nations. And some of what they feared still walks the land. Story 3. This story was told to me by a ranch hand named Miguel. He works on a spread outside Marfa, 10,000 acres of scrubland and cattle. Miguel's family has been in that area for generations. His great-great-grandfather worked that same land. They know the country, and they know what to avoid. There's an arroyo on the property, a dry creek bed that only flows during rare heavy rains. It cuts through the eastern section of the ranch, maybe half a mile long. Miguel's grandfather told him, Never go in the arroyo after dark. Never. Didn't explain why. Just said, there's something old there, something that was here before us, and it doesn't like being disturbed. Miguel respected that. For years, he never questioned it. Until 2020. It's August, hot as hell. Miguel's checking on cattle in the eastern pasture. It's late afternoon, sun getting low. One of the cows has wandered into the arroyo. He can see her down there, about 40 yards in. Miguel checks his watch. 6:45 p.m. Sunset's not until 8:30. Plenty of time. He rides his horse down into the arroyo. The temperature drops immediately. It's weird. Up on the plain, it's still over 95 degrees. Down here, it feels 20 degrees cooler and darker. The arroyo walls are maybe 15 feet high, not tall, but they block the sun. Create this premature twilight. Miguel rides toward the cow. She's just standing there, not eating, not moving, just standing. Come on, girl, Miguel calls. Let's get you out of here. The cow doesn't respond, doesn't even turn her head. Miguel gets closer. That's when he notices. The cow is trembling, shaking like she's freezing, in August, in Texas. Hey, what's wrong with you? He reaches out to touch her. The cow bolts, just takes off, running deeper into the arroyo. Damn it, Miguel mutters. He follows. His horse is acting weird too now, ears back, nervous. Miguel's about to turn around, forget the cow, when he hears it, breathing, heavy, ragged, coming from behind him. He turns in his saddle. The arroyo behind him is empty, but the breathing continues. It's all around him, echoing off the walls, in, out, in, out. Miguel's horse starts backing up, spooked. Easy, Miguel says, but his own voice is shaking. The breathing gets louder, and then he smells it. Rot, decay, like something dead for a long time. Miguel doesn't think. He just reacts, spurs his horse. The horse doesn't need encouraging. It takes off at a gallop. They're racing through the arroyo, hooves pounding dry earth. The breathing is keeping pace with them. Miguel can hear it, right behind him, matching his speed. He doesn't look back, just focuses on the end of the arroyo. The opening ahead where the land levels out, 50 yards, 25. The breathing is right on him now. He can feel it, heat on the back of his neck, breath that shouldn't exist. 10 yards. His horse lunges up the bank. They burst out of the arroyo onto the open plain. The moment they clear the arroyo, the breathing stops. Miguel reins in his horse. Both of them are heaving, covered in sweat. He looks back at the arroyo. Nothing, just the dry creek bed, shadows pooling in the depression. But as he watches, something moves in those shadows, something big. It doesn't come out, doesn't show itself, just moves. Back and forth, pacing, like it's contained, like it can't leave the arroyo. Miguel watches for a full minute. The thing keeps pacing, never showing itself, never coming out. Finally, Miguel turns his horse, rides back to the ranch house. He tells his grandfather what happened. The old man just nods. Did it follow you out? No, Miguel says. It stayed in the arroyo. Good. That means it's still bound. Bound? By what? His grandfather gets quiet. Then, before this was a ranch, it was Chumano land, then Apache. The arroyo was a boundary, a place where they left offerings. Offerings for what? For what lived there, to keep it happy, to keep it contained. What is it? His grandfather shakes his head. Don't know the name, don't want to know. But it's been there longer than any of us, and as long as we respect it, stay out of the arroyo after dark, it stays there. What happens if it gets out? The old man looks at Miguel. It won't, not as long as we remember. Miguel hasn't gone in the arroyo since, even in daylight, but sometimes at dusk he'll ride past, and he'll see the shadows moving, pacing, waiting. The cattle know too. They avoid the arroyo completely now, and last spring, when a coyote chased a calf toward the arroyo, the calf stopped dead at the edge, wouldn't go in, even with the coyote right behind it. The coyote stopped too, looked into the arroyo, and ran the other direction. Whatever's in there, even the predators know to leave it alone. Last story is mine, and I'll be honest, I still don't know what to make of it. This happened 3 years ago. And I think about it every time I drive through East Texas. Story 4. The gas station between towns. March 2022. I'm driving from Houston to Shreveport. Taking a Highway 96 through East Texas, it's a route I've driven a dozen times. I leave Houston around 5 p.m. Figure I'll get to Shreveport by 10:30. The drive is uneventful. I'm listening to podcasts, making good time. Sunsets around 7:30. By 8:15, I'm deep in East Texas. Pine forests on both sides. Small towns every 20 miles or so. My gas light comes on. I'm not worried. There's a town coming up, Woodville, maybe 15 miles ahead. I'll fill up there. But as I'm driving, I see a gas station ahead. Right side of the road, lights on. I don't remember ever seeing a gas station in this spot before. But hey, it's been a while since I drove this route. Maybe it's new. I pull in. It's one of those old-style stations, 2 pumps, small building, hand-painted sign that just says gas. No brand, no Texaco, no Shell, just gas. There's one other car there, older model Chevy, nobody inside it. I get out. The air feels weird, thick, like right before a storm, that pressure. I walk to the pump. It's old, like 1970s old, mechanical number wheels instead of a digital display, but it works. I swipe my card. Card reader declines. I try again. Declined. There's a sign. Cash only. Of course. I walk into the building. Bell above the door chimes. Inside, it's dated. Wood paneling. Linoleum floor with a pattern from decades ago. Shelves stocked with items I haven't seen in years. Glass bottles of Coke. Candy bars and wrappers I remember from childhood. Behind the counter is an old man. Maybe 70. Flannel shirt, trucker cap. Help you? He asks. Need to get gas. Do you take card inside? He shakes his head. Cash only. A TM. Nope. I check my wallet. I've got $23. Okay, $20 on pump 1. I hand him a 20. He takes it, puts it in an old cash register, the kind with mechanical keys. Thank you, he says. I walk back to my car, start pumping. While I'm standing there, I look around. The other car, the Chevy, is still running, engine on, lights on, but nobody's in it. Nobody's around. I glance back at the building. Through the window, I can see the old man. He's just standing behind the counter, staring out at me. Not in a threatening way, just staring. The pump clicks off, $19.87. I hang up the nozzle, get back in my car. As I'm pulling out, I look in my rearview mirror. The old man is standing outside now, in front of the building, still staring, and the Chevy's lights turn off, engine off like it was never running. I drive away, heart rate elevated. Something felt wrong about that place. I keep driving, looking for Woodville. 15 minutes pass, 20, no town. I check my GPS. According to it, I should have reached Woodville 10 minutes ago, but there's nothing. Just highway, just forest. Then I see lights ahead. Gas station, right side of the road. I slow down. It's the same station, same 2 pumps, same building, same hand-painted sign. But I've been driving north for 20 minutes. I haven't turned around, haven't exited. How am I back here? I speed past, don't stop, check my mirrors. The old man is standing outside again, watching me drive away. I keep going, foot heavy on the gas, 70. 75. My GPS is glitching. The map keeps resetting, showing me in different locations. Then it stabilizes. I'm on Highway 96, right where I should be, and ahead, Woodville. The town appears like someone turned on the lights. 1 second, nothing. Next second, street lights, buildings, a proper gas station with a Valero sign. I pull in, fill up, go inside to buy a coffee. My hands are shaking. The attendant is a young guy, early 20s. You okay, man? He asks. Yeah, just weird drive. Tell me about it. This stretch gets spooky at night. I almost leave, but something makes me ask. Hey, is there another gas station between here and Jasper? Old place just says gas on the sign? The attendant frowns. On 96? No, man, we're the only station for 30 miles in either direction. You sure? Positive. I've lived here my whole life. I thank him. Get back in my car. I pull up Google Maps, Street View, start going back down Highway 96 south, looking for that station. I go through the whole route, Jasper to Woodville, no gas station, nothing but forest. I drove through East Texas again a few months ago. Different time of day, mid-afternoon, clear skies. I paid very close attention to that stretch of road. No gas station, no building, no nothing. But I know I stopped there. I have the receipt somewhere, crumpled $20 bill that came back to me as change, except when I got home and looked for it. The bill was from 1987, and it was crisp, like it had just been printed. I still have it, in a drawer, haven't spent it, because I don't know what happens if I do, and I don't drive Highway 96 at night anymore. 4 stories, 4 different parts of Texas, 4 things that shouldn't exist. The hitchhiker who's been dead for 30 years but still wants a ride. The town that burned down but still has people living in it. The thing in the arroyo that's older than any of us and stays hungry. And the gas station that's there when it wants to be. Texas is big. Room for a lot of secrets, a lot of history, a lot of things that don't make sense. I still love this state, still call it home, still wouldn't want to live anywhere else, but I'm more careful now about where I go and when. Because Texas remembers every drop of blood spilled, every person lost, every town abandoned, it remembers. And sometimes it shows you. So if you're from Texas or you're just passing through, enjoy the BBQ, see the Alamo, catch a Longhorns game. But when you're driving late at night on some empty highway, pay attention, check your mirrors, and if you see something that doesn't feel right, trust that feeling. Because in Texas, the weird stuff, that's not just stories, that's Tuesday. Y'all stay safe now. And remember, everything's bigger in Texas, including the things you can't explain.